Probably our inconsistency, our lack of contest, our bruise-free footy. Considering what we've trained for the last 2 months since our first hit out, we knew that was disappointing. We knew some of our off-ball stuff needed work, so we focused on it. We trained it to get out under bright lights and let ourselves down like we did. I thought we put 10 minutes of footy out on the ground and looked pretty good early, and then unfortunately we completely dropped away. And so it's a really embarrassing performance, disappointing for us, because we know that's not how we're going to win games of footy, and we're not going to challenge sides. All credit to Port. They ran hard. They got their tails up, and they were pretty hard to stop after we'd allowed them to run freely into their forward line. So looking at some of the vision back, it's a disappointing day for us, but hopefully one we learn from.
More disappointed than round one, the performance in the midfield and contested ball?
Look, it's a hard one. I mean, as I said, we've got to give credit to a side that's going really well. They're a class outfit. We allowed them to play football the way they wanted to play football. So that's what we're most disappointed about as a group, and we'll lick our wounds and we'll get ourselves back out there and we'll train it even more. But some of the off-ball stuff we don't accept. We're not going to accept it moving forward. I don't care who it is. We don't discriminate. I love the way Chase Jones went about it in the end. If I'm trying to find a positive out of the game, I thought he was outstanding. We put him to boat for a little period of time late in the game, and Travis was obviously playing some really good footy, and Chase was able to, quieten him down. So some young kids were positive. Unfortunately, not enough.
So where the group's at is like a learning experience more so than, not a reality check, but they've got to go through some of this hard stuff to learn what it takes to play that level.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully not for too long. I guess the best part about it is we know what we're not getting right, and we're not going to hide from that. We're not going to come out and say we're unlucky here. No, there's stuff that's unacceptable that we won't put up with, and we'll nail that as a group. And hopefully it's not something we put up with for a long period of time. This will be something we get right as quick as possible.
To label it bruise-free, I mean, that's probably the most damning criticism a coach can give his clubs, isn't it?
Well, it's not only. I mean, we've had a short discussion. We're mindful of doing it too early after a game when emotions are up, but we're all in this. So we've talked that. We'll have more discussions on it during the week, but it's not just the coach. We know we've got work to do. So the players are disappointed, as I said, because it's not the way we want to play.
Was the effort there? I mean, something like 65 or 66 more marks. Is that a product of effort, or is that just their control of the ball?
Yeah, it's not a lack of effort. It's not a lack of effort, and I want to point that out. Our guys are trying their guts out. They're just getting their method wrong. If you allow a boat to run straight past you in open field, well, you're not going to catch him. Pumping him up a bit too much, Trav. I know him well, but Motlop, as I said, we've got to give credit to Port Adelaide and where they're at. But you can't make it easy for these stronger sides. You can't go out there and allow them to do what they want to do.
The injury to Sloan?
It was a cork. Yeah, it was a really solid cork. Unfortunately, he wanted to continue on, but the last thing we wanted to do was make that worse. So in the end, he was hobbling around. He couldn't keep up with it. So we just had to make the decision for more of a medium, longer term for him. So that was unfortunate for us because we were under the pump, and then to lose your captain, and we know what Sloaney can do in those sort of times. He can try and lift and get the group going. So it wasn't ideal.
I know a million things happened, but the second quarter, I think, when you gave away 2 goals from 50, you scored probably a kick anyway. Does that anger you, or how do you sort of?
I try not to get angry. I try not to get angry. Some might say opposite. It's not angry. It's more. I mean, these are things you work on. We work on all of this across the piece. I don't give a sucker an even break. You know, they're 25 out on an angle. Don't give them the goal square. Disappointing more so that we make errors like that. And sometimes that comes with fatigue. The game's a lot easier from where we all sit. And at different stages, you know, at one stage I think they had 20 odd inside 50s in a row in a quarter. I can only imagine how our backs are feeling at that point. I've been in that same position, and it's a really tough time, but you've got to dig deep.
Did you think your back's hung in there okay?
Yeah, I did. I thought, as I said before, I don't think there was a lack of effort across the board. I thought our backs tried their guts out. We were beaten with method. Again, you know, for Port to take our backs, Marshall early was really hurting us, getting him behind. He's a very smart footballer, but that's where we're going to take a lot of our learnings. And a lot of that's not in the actual aerial contest. A lot of that's work that's done beforehand or not done. And that's that physicality that we're talking about. And I know Bruce Freeze being thrown around, we'll wear it. We've just got to get better.
When you say there'll be consequences or you're not going to put up with those sort of efforts, when you've got a young and developing group, do you just go to selection and make changes straight away, or do you teach lessons in different ways, call it out of training, or how do you get that message through?
Well, it's not all. I mean, when I say we're not going to put up with it, we're not all young. We've got some guys in our group that know better, that physicality is part of AFL footy, and if you're not going to embrace it, well, you're going to be chasing. So what ends up happening? We're working harder than we have to because we won't do the work off ball. It should be an easy fix, but there's a certain amount you've got to buy into that, and we will.
So you were down a rotation early when Jake Kelly's head collided with Brad Everett's knee. Was that a concussion situation?
Yeah, so Jake unfortunately was concussion and couldn't pass the test, so he had to sit out the rest of the game. So that changed a few things for us. We've got a lot of prep done in trying to cover that. But what it does do is it moves. You've got to get an extra back for that rotation. Unfortunately, when that happens and you're losing centre bounce or stoppage like we were, and the ball's in your back half, we're forced to try and get a number behind. Well, now we've got 7 backs on the field. So you start to pull midfielders. So, you know, you talk about how the game changes off of one injury. But I thought we covered that reasonably well. That wasn't our issue. In the end, it was our lack of contest.
Did anyone put their hand up in the scratch match earlier today? The earlier game?
In the early game, yeah, we did. We had a couple of really good performances. It was a bit more of a scrap. She was quite wet in that game. But we had a number of guys. Shane McAdam, again, who's been outstanding throughout. He looked really clean, really polished forward of the ball. Miles Paholke on ball as a midfielder, took some huge steps. So yeah, there's some real positives come out of there. Even Macca down back, McPherson, he played a really solid game. So there's some guys that are putting their hand up, and we need that. We need that pressure from below.
Can you turn going into a hub now is almost positive now that you've got 3 or 4 weeks group together, really go hard at what you need to do?
Yeah, I think so. And I think we were really looking forward to getting over there as a group. The toughest part of it's families. So, you know, we respect that and we understand it. I've got a family, so that's going to be tough to not have them there. But I think for our group, our young group, it's going to be a real positive to be, over there together. We'll do our best to spend as much time as we can trying to work on some of these areas I've spoken about.